Hello, welcome back to the VTOL VR Definitive Campaign Guide. We're continuing with the F-45 quick missions today. Last time we completed Stealth Strike, a mission where we struck stealthily. Yeah. Now we're going into the next mission, Counter Bomber. Now you might notice that it's already been completed. That's because I actually already recorded this mission. But it kind of turned out terribly. It kind of turned out terribly, so I just scrapped the recording and decided to just re-record it. So yeah. Anyways, let's just head into the next mission, Counter Bomber, which should be quite a bit shorter than Stealth Strike. Although it can still take a bit. It can still take a bit. It just, I guess, it mostly feels shorter. It does feel significantly shorter because we're not waiting around as much. But yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. Counter Bomber. Take the lead on this two-part mission to take down hostile bombers. You'll be the first to launch from the carrier. Destroy the long-range defenses at the enemy coastal airbase Alpha first so that we can launch fighters. That is like really weird. That sentence is like really weirdly worded. Feel like there should maybe make a comma somewhere and maybe it's just reworded a bit, but it's just a bit weirdly worded. But anyways, once the air defenses are destroyed, Cap Group India will launch from the carrier to help you clean up the enemy fighters. After clearing the fighters, land at the FARP to reconfigure for a purely air-to-air role. You will be joined by another F-45 to take down the enemy bombers taking off from Airbase Bravo. Seed Group Romeo will launch from the carrier to disable the SAM sites at Bravo. Destroy the two bombers from Bravo, then return to the carrier to complete the mission! Exclamation point. Alright? So this will be a two-part mission. First part is a seed mission, second part is a bomber interception mission. So yeah, let's get into it. We will have a chance to rearm in between. So first of all, we are going to start by carrying. So first part is going to be a sea mission. We need to take out the enemy air defenses, the enemy long-range air defenses, and then we need to intercept. We need to take out the fighters at the airbase. So for taking out the fighters, we're going to be carrying sidewinders in our side bays. And although these are only just in case the enemy fighters just manage to take off, ideally we want to try to, strafe them while they're still on the ground. So yeah. And then we're gonna turn off symmetry in one bay. In one of our main bays, we're gonna carry AGM-88S Argams. We're gonna carry some Argams. In the original tech strategy mission, we carried the AGM-161 cruise missile because we could pinpoint the exact location just simply based on the radar emissions, but we can't do that anymore. So instead, we're just gonna carry ARMs. We're gonna carry two ARMs, and then in our other weapons bay, we're gonna be carrying AGM-145 ballistas because there are two radar base air defenses at this first air base. There is a DS radar and a MAD-4 radar. And ideally we're going to take out both of those with our ARMs. Although there is a chance that the MAD-4 radar could detect our attack and then try to reposition. In that case, it'll shut off its radar and our ARM will miss. If that happens, then we'll simply hit it with an AGM-145. And there are also a couple of IR SAMs around the airfield, so we're also going to be using our AGM-145s for that. And then we're going to be taking off from a carrier, so we don't need to worry about thrust to weight. And yeah, let's go. And that should be it. Let's go. No external hardpoints. Not carrying any external hardpoints. Let's go.
Take off and head to the mission waypoint. You need to clear out the long-range air defenses before we can launch the Cap Group.
Roger that. Let's just start her up. And I'm gonna give a pro tip for just in general for this game, but especially for the F-45. So sometimes, even if you like properly center yourself in the ready room, and even if you press the properly center yourself with the recenter seat option, sometimes it might still feel like you're, especially like, it might feel like you're positioned like really low down, like low down or far back. Yeah, that is something that you might feel sometimes, especially in this aircraft, because this aircraft is quite a bit smaller and the cockpit is a bit more cramped. And especially because I usually keep my seat at the maximum height. So if you get positioned low down, then you won't be able to raise your seat any further. If that happens, just simply recenter yourself in Steam VR. Just in the Steam VR menu, just select just click the recenter button in Steam VR. And then recenter yourself, and basically just recenter yourself in Steam VR, and then recenter yourself in game, and that should fix your positioning. So yeah, pro tip. In general, for any aircraft, but especially for the F-45. Anyways, we're started up. Let's get out there. Tower, Sierra 1-1, request takeoff.
Sierra 1-1, you're cleared to taxi to Cat 4.
Alright, launch bar down.
Sierra 1-1, locked in. Throttle down and run your launch checklist.
Roger. Alright. Now in this aircraft we don't need to worry about setting flaps or catapult trim. It does it automatically.
Shields up, ready to go.
This aircraft sets flaps and catapult trim automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. Alright. Let's go. Alright, gear up. Okay, now I feel like that exact scenario I talked about earlier is happening, where I feel really low down. You know what? I'm gonna fix that real quick. All right, it'll do, I guess. Anyways, let's get ready for our attack. So we are now airborne. We're already picking up the radar signals. We're detecting a DS radar and a MAD-4. We're basically already in range. We're basically already in range of these two radars for our ARMs. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fire off both of our ARMs right away. Okay, we're gonna fire it at the MAD-4 first, because that's further. All right, Magnum, and now we're gonna dive down to avoid. To avoid, because we're gonna be approaching the radars, so we're gonna dive down to terrain mask. So you might have noticed that it showed it kind of showed us like out of range. It showed when we because with this aircraft, because it can use the radar signals to sort of triangulate the distance, to roughly triangulate the position and distance of the target radar. So that'll help can calculate so it can calculate the range of the ARMs based on that. And you might have noticed it actually showed the ARMs appearing to be out of range of the Now, for the most part, you can actually ignore the range markers for harms, specifically for harms, because harms and ARGMs can actually go really far. Harms and ARGMs can go really far. Like they have a range of around 32 miles. So as long as you're within 32 miles, the missile should have enough range to impact. Now if it can impact without getting intercepted is another question. Because as the missile flies, the further the missile flies, because its engines can only have enough fuel for like 20 seconds or so. the missile's motor only has enough fuel for like 20 seconds or so, and then after that it'll basically glide its way and will gradually lose speed.
Good work.
All right, Shaq.
Long-range air defenses have been neutralized. They're probably scrambling fighters by now, so we'll launch Cap Group India to support you.
Shack on, alright, Shack on the enemy. Shack back on the radars. Enemy radars neutralized. Now we're going to take out. We're heading into the airfield to take out the enemy. To attack. We're gonna go attack the airfield, but first we gotta take out these these IRAPCs, of which there are two. One at each end of the airfield. Basically one at each end of the runway, basically. One over here and one on this side and one on that side.
Shoot.
Be ready to pop flares in case they fire at us.
Chat.
Incoming. Flares out.
Chat. Flare.
Alright.
Chat. Flare.
Incoming. Incoming missile. Flares out.
Flare.
Good flares, good flares. Alright. Enemy aircraft are lining up to take off. Enemy fighters are lining up to take off.
Pull up.
Let's strafe these fighters before they get airborne. So one thing to note is that you might notice those are the Mad 4 launchers on the road over there. They basically, if you take too long to destroy the, if you take too long, if you're taking too long, sorry. If you take too long to destroy the air defenses, especially the Mad 4 will actually will actually relocate. It'll just shut off its radar and then it will move to a new site. If that happens, then as I said before,
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Shut up. If that happens, then basically then your ARMs will lose their lock and miss, and then you have to just track down the Mad 4 and take it out another way. But anyways, pro tip for strafing, you can prolong your strafing run by tilting your engines up, and that'll help prolong your strafing run, and then that'll get you a longer run. So, last fighter over there.
No more fighters from enemy airbase Alpha are showing on radar. Move on to the FARP and reconfigure yourself to take down the bombers.
All right, all fighters neutralized. All enemy fighters is neutralized before they even got airborne. Nice. Cap Group India kind of like they took off from the carrier and then they did nothing. They didn't even get here in time before all the we just strafed all of the fighters on the runway. So yeah, well, they really said my work here is done, even though they didn't do anything. Anyways, I'm gonna go strafe. I'm actually gonna go strafe those Mad 4 launchers, just because I feel like it. All right. Just felt like doing so. All right. All primary targets neutralized. Moving on to phase 2. So now we're heading over to a FARP. Where we're gonna rearm for air-to-air. So yeah, it's over there, 34 miles away. Let's climb up. We're just gonna climb up to altitude, and yeah, we're just gonna climb up, and then we're gonna climb up. Because, well, first of all, we gotta get over these mountains over here. So yeah. India flight really took off from the carrier, flew towards the airbase. We killed all of the fighters, and they said, "Our work here is done." And then now they're heading back to the carrier. Good job, guys. You guys were so helpful. Anyways, phase 1 is pretty simple. Phase 1 is pretty simple. Just take out the air defenses and then strafe the fighters. If any fighters get airborne, then that's what our sidewinders are for. And yeah, use that pro tip I gave about prolonging your strafing run. Notice an enemy installation down there. Notice that is an enemy installation down there. There's a couple of rocket and artillery trucks and an IR-APC. That is something you may want to keep note of, in case you get fired. In case the IR-APC fires at you. Now we're also picking up a couple of MAD 4 radars. Those are actually at Airbase Bravo. And we will have to worry about those, but not at the moment. Not right now. We will have to worry about those for phase 2, but not right now. We're just gonna hit to rearm, and then we can worry about those. All right, we're gonna start descending. We're gonna start descending towards the FARP, which is currently 13 miles away. Now, C Group Romeo has launched from the carrier, and they're heading towards the FARP. They will circle around the FARP, and they will wait for us they'll wait for us to be ready. So yeah. Although really I wouldn't rely on Romeo too much, because there's a good chance that they will be shot down by those MAD 4s, the very MAD 4s that they're supposed to destroy. Because they never learn the trick, the 32-mile trick, the 32-mile trick for harms. The 32-mile rule for harms. Because yeah, harms and argums can have a range as far as around, can have a range of around 32 miles or even more, depending on your altitude. But guess what? MAD 4s also have a range of 32 miles. MAD 4s also have a maximum range of 32 miles. So yeah, if you don't fire a MAD 4 in 32 miles, then the MAD 4, if you don't fire your harm within 32 miles, then the MAD 4 will fire at you. So yeah. Alright, approaching top FARP. We're gonna circle around. So now we're gonna circle around on the FARP to bleed off speed. Gonna go full tilt and engines to 90 and nozzles to 90, or nozzle rather, because we only have one engine nozzle. But we also have the lift fan. But we do have the lift fan, which can tilt its thrust vanes. Remember when bleeding off speed. When bleeding off speed, always remember to watch your vertical speed. Don't let it spiral out of control. If you do notice your vertical speed like spiraling out of control, just go full, punch your engine to full power, and then hope your punch your engine to full power and hope your vertical speed it reduces enough for your landing gear to absorb the impact. Yeah, that's really all you can do. If your vertical speed spirals out of control. All right. Oh jeez. Careful. All right, we're gonna activate VCAP. Gonna switch to VCAP now, and then we're gonna reduce our speed. Gonna overfly these tents. Probably give the troops inside a bit of a scare, and then we're gonna descend down to the helipad. Probably a better way to approach the helipad, you know, other than gliding down towards it. It's fine.
The other F-45 is all
All right.
prepped to join you. Work together to
Go
take down the
down.
bombers. They'll have fighter escorts, so stay on your toes. We've launched Seed Group Romeo to take care of air defenses near Airbase Bravo.
Roger.
Ready to rearm and refuel.
The F-45 is ready to go. We're gonna shut down and then we're gonna rearm. Ground request rearm.
Copy.
Gonna rearm. I'm gonna refill our countermeasures. We are gonna refill our gun. We have not used any sidewinders. That's fine. Gonna activate symmetry and then we're gonna load our internal base with AMRAAMs. These are AIM 120D AMRAAMs, which are a more advanced variant of the AMRAAMs, which I can explain a bit later. But we're also gonna carry a couple of ARGMs on our wings. Just in case, that's basically just in case a Seed Group Romeo fails their mission. And we're not going to refuel, we still have plenty of fuel. We don't need to refuel. And that'll be it, let's go. Actually, you know what, we'll also carry a couple of AMRAAMs on our wings. Just, you know, just so we have a couple more AMRAAMs. Alright, let's go.
Okay, you're all set up. Good luck out there.
Alright, and now let's get back out there. Yeah, as I was saying, there's probably a better way to approach a helipad other than gliding around towards it and buzzing all the troops on the ground. Yeah, I guess I'm just not good enough at vertical flying to do that. But anyways. Alright. We're started up. Let's get airborne. So I'm just gonna demonstrate how you do a vertical takeoff with the VCAP. So what you want to do is tilt engines to 90. Then put the throttle at the halfway mark as indicated on your HUD. So set it to the 50% mark and activate VCAP. Because that'll ensure you don't move forward or backwards. And then we're gonna turn off our parking brake. And then we're just gonna pull back on the stick. And until we get airborne. Now we're just gonna wait. We're just gonna keep holding back on the stick until we gain sufficient altitude. Until we gain a bit of altitude. Yeah, at least enough altitude to clear this cliff. And then we're gonna just push our throttle forward. We're gonna push throttle forward to gain some forward speed. I was gonna lighten up on the. Push on the stick back. We're just gonna lighten on the stick as well, so we can gain in speed faster. All right, gear up. And now we're just gonna let it quickly transition. We're gonna let it gradually transition to horizontal flight, automatically. And now you might notice your controls feel a bit more like a conventional flight. So yeah. Don't know why the engines are the engine's rolling back power, and now it's all right. And now we are fully transitioned into horizontal flight. So yeah. And I don't know if I explained this before, but the reason I don't really like using VCAP for vertical takeoff, it's because it takes so much longer. It takes so much longer to do so. Oh, then if I just took off, perform a vertical takeoff manually. Anyways, let's head to Airbase Bravo. Wingmen form up.
Copy. On it.
Wingmen regroup.
Copy. Wilco.
So that other F-45 is assigned as our wingman, so he'll form up with us. He'll follow us. And as you can see,
Spotted the enemy. Weapons
Romeo has already started going on ahead. They fired off a harm.
Mayday, going down.
And one of them is dead.
I'm being tracked by a missile, going offensive.
Yeah, that tends to happen. And that's why we brought out our Argums and this is why we brought Argums for this very scenario. Oh, and they're dead. And Romeo Wing is dead. Wingmen, radar on.
Copy.
We're just gonna have our radars on. Yeah, but they at least managed to get one harm off.
Shoot.
So we're gonna fire off our harm at that radar. At that Mad 4. Magnum.
Roger.
Wingmen engage. Wingmen engage.
Roger that.
Alright.
Enemy sighted. Engaging.
Shoot.
Alright, engaging. We're engaging. There's looks like some fighters are taking off, as well as and there looks like there's fighters taking off from the airbase. So let's get them. Looks like that first harm actually missed. Looks like that Romeo Wing's first harm actually missed. So they didn't even get any. They didn't even get any of the Mad Force.
Shoot.
Alright, we're gonna jettison. Alright, we fired off all of our external munitions. We're gonna jettison the hard points. And detecting an enemy bomber has taken off. Detecting enemy bomber. That is our primary objective. Our primary objective is to neutralize the bombers. That is our main objective. There are 2 bombers. Oop, he's still in the air.
Shoot.
Fox 3.
Copy. Wilco.
Pitbull.
Our primary objective is to neutralize the bombers. Alright, splash 1 bomber.
Over D. Shoot.
Fox
Over
3.
D.
Fox 3.
Roger.
Over D.
Alright, we're... Oh, SAM launch. SAM launch, break.
Missile.
SAM launch, break.
Pitbull.
Get down.
Over D. Shoot.
Fox 3.
Crap, that was close, but I'm still flying.
Damn it, missed.
Over D.
Copy that. Fox 3.
SAM launch.
Flare.
Missile defending.
Over D.
Pull up.
Over D.
Woo!
Missile launch. Over D.
Whoa, on your tail.
Over D.
Fox 2.
Over D. Over D.
Splash.
Gosh.
Alright. Just the bomber left?
Shoot.
Fox 3.
Fox 3.
Missile launch.
Copy that.
Alright. Oh. So as I said at the primary objective of this mission is to neutralize the bombers. Oh, you missed. Ah, damn it. Missile shot trashed. Missile shot
Missile
trashed.
missed.
Missile launch.
Fox 2.
Roger. Missile shot trashed. Alright, out of AMRAMs, we're gonna go guns on the bomber.
My missile failed to charge.
Splash.
Okay, both bombers have been destroyed.
Over T.
Return to the fleet as soon as
Over T.
possible.
Roger.
Over T.
Alright,
Over T.
all primary targets neutralized. Alright, so that's the mission. Our work is done. And because I feel like it, I'm gonna go strafe these Mad 4 launchers at the airfield. So let me explain my strategy for that part. What we did is we fired off because first of all we observed if Romeo Wing's attack was successful or not. We observed their attack was not successful, so that's why we fired off our own ARMs, since we got to do their job for them apparently. And then our primary objective was to intercept the bombers that were taking off from the airfield. The bombers will take off from the airfield and head towards the fleet, and you gotta intercept them before they reach the fleet. All right. All Mad 4 or launchers neutralized. Our work here is done. Let's head home. Wingmen disengage.
Copy that.
Oh, I left my lights on. Whoops. So yeah, we observed the effects of Romeo Wing's attack, and their attacks completely failed. So we just took out the Mad 4s with our own Argums in their stead, and that was way more successful. Man, and they suck. Man, the AI just really sucks at performing seed missions. And then a bunch of fighters as well as 2 bombers took off from the airfield. Our primary objective was the bombers, but also we don't want to ignore the fighters because they will engage us. So what I fired off I fired off our ARMs, and then I fired off our externally mounted AMRAMs, and then I jettisoned the hard points to make us a bit harder to track on enemy radar. And then it basically just became an air-to-air battle, and we won. In my previous recording, I decided not to bring the ARMs, and it was a disaster, and it turned out to be a disaster. Now I survived. I did survive the battle, and I did survive, and I did complete the mission. That's all I can say. Everyone else died, including my wingman. He got shot down by a fighter. He got shot down by an enemy fighter. But I recommend, and because that was basically the first aircraft to take off and the last aircraft to take off from the airbase will be the bombers. The bombers will be the first aircraft that takes off and the last aircraft that takes off. So I recommend saving at least one AMRAM for that second bomber. Because HB-106 bombers are fast. They can go really fast, and if you don't intercept them early, then you're gonna be hard pressed to chase them down if you don't have any longer range weapons like AMRAMs. So yeah, recommend saving at least one AMRAM for the second bomber. And just take down the enemy, engage the enemy fighters as you see fit, but just engage the enemy fighters, but save at least one an AMRAM for the second bomber. That's my recommendation for tactics. Even though our second AMRAM actually missed, the bomber basically just took off, so it had like no speed. It had no speed, so it was easy to gun. The bomber is easy to gun down. Anyways, mission accomplished. Our work here is done. It's heading back to. We're heading back to. We'll head back to the carrier. Unfortunately, Romeo Wing did not survive the mission. Oh well. Their sacrifice will really not be remembered at all. They did nothing. They did nothing. They did not. They did nothing other than, you know, be bait a tiny bit, I guess. Actually, they didn't even really be bait. They just did nothing and died. They flew in, fired up one harm, refused to elaborate further, died. The harm missed. So yeah. Anyways, where was that? Where was that enemy outpost? That was with that. Where was that enemy outpost? That was with the IRAPC. Because, oh, there it is, down there. Now, depending on your flight path back to the carrier, you may overfly. Yeah, there it is. There's the enemy outpost down there with the IRAPC. Now, depending on your flight path back to base, you may overfly that. You may overfly the outpost, and if you do, the IRAPC may fire at you. So be prepared to. So you should be prepared to pop flares. Be prepared to pop flares if so, when flying back. Anyways, approaching the carrier. Let us descend. Let's descend. Begin our descent to the carrier. And let us prepare for landing. So to perform to set up your ILS in this aircraft, what you gotta do is in the main menu you open the HSI menu, and that is basically pulls up the exact same HSI, basically the same HSI as other aircraft, and you can just enter the ILS frequency right here using the touch screen. We're just gonna set up the carrier's ILS 115.5. Then you can use the touch screen, use the touch keypad. And yeah, that's the mission. So yeah, as I was saying, my previous recording, it kind of went a disaster. My wingman got shot down really quickly. Both of Romeo Wing got shot down. They did actually manage to take out one of the Mad Force, so that helped a bit, I guess. Tower, Sierra 1-1, request landing.
Sierra 1-1, cleared to land on the carrier.
Roger. I think the carrier is turning right now, so we have a bit of time. Wingman RTB.
Roger.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Watch it! Jeez, watch it! Watch it, my guy! Good thing I reacted quickly. Anyways, in my previous recording, my wingman got shot down quickly. Both of Romeo Wing got shot down, but they did manage to at least take down one of the Mad Fours. And then I basically had to, I basically had to dogfight. I basically had to dogfight the fighters, which is not something you exactly. Which, you know, this aircraft isn't exactly built for dogfighting. As you may have heard about the stories is with the F-35 in real life, it's really not built for dogfighting. Yeah, just like the F-45 in real life, this aircraft is not built for dogfighting. Oh, I guess our wingman is just gonna land vertically. That's fine. We're just gonna do a regular, you know, arrested landing. Our wingman's gonna do a vertical landing. That's fine. That's fine by me. Alright. Prepare our Case 1 landing. Alright, hook down. I ran out of sidewinders and I had to dogfight. I had to dogfight the enemy fighters with my guns, and I won. I'd win. But nah, I'd win.
Chaff missile alert. Missile chaff landing gear. Over G.
I won while also avoiding the second Mad 4. Alright, and he's descending. Gear down. Oh, that's too far.
Landing gear.
Descended too far. Alright, 600 feet. Let's reduce our speed. Just because this engine really produces a lot of thrust. Despite it only being a single engine, it actually produces a lot of thrust. Which I guess makes sense. It is a VTOL aircraft. It does need that thrust for vertical takeoff and landing. But we're also really light right now, so yeah. Alright, anyways. Turning in for landing. Turning in for the approach. Alright, on the approach. A bit far to the right. That's fine, we can correct that.
Sierra 1-1, call the ball.
Sierra 1-1 ball. Sierra 1-1 ball. Sierra 1-1 ball.
Roger ball.
Alright, now unlike the FA-26, this aircraft does not have an AOA indicator. But that's fine, you can just look at the AOA on your HUD.
Lined up.
You also want to aim like a bit up. This aircraft is also significantly smaller than the
Lined up.
FA-26.
One wire.
Oof.
Welcome back. Follow the taxi path to your parking area.
One wire. That's yeah. We aim a bit too short. So I was saying you want to aim a bit shorter. You want to aim a bit shorter in this area because it's significantly smaller than the FA-26. Because when we were in the FA-26, you kind of wanted to like aim for the end of the flight deck. But here you want to aim shorter because this aircraft is very much smaller than the FA-26. Especially it's short. It's like lower to the ground. The landing gear is lower, especially. And I aimed too short, and we touched down way too short. We touched down way too short. At least we didn't we didn't miss the deck. At least we didn't crash into the stern. But yeah, we definitely aimed way too short, and we landed even short. We touched down even short of the one wire, which is really not good. That's way too short.
Ground crew standing by.
And hitting the one wire is something that'll get you reprimanded as a naval aviator. So yeah. Anyways, let's shut her down, and mission accomplished. That's yeah. It still took about 40 minutes. Still took about a little bit under 40 minutes. That's fine. Yeah. Maybe it's not that much shorter than Stealth Strike. But it just doesn't feel as short because we're not waiting around as much. Anyways, here's India group. Here's Cat Group India. That you can see all their air-to-air missiles that they didn't use. And yeah, and that's Counter Bomber. That's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.